Hey guys, Chris here, go to Project Nerf, and today we're going to start a new series where I'm building a brand new primary blaster for me. Anyway, let's get at it. So yeah, guys, been wanting to build myself a new primary blaster for a few years now. Obviously, every couple of years you got to update because the game changes so fluidly. Anyway, I want something that's going to serve well in an HVZ capacity as well as on the modern battlefield. So we're going to attempt to build a multi-role primary that will serve well, maybe not perfect, but well in both game types, and a lot of creature comforts going into it. I'm pretty excited. I hope you guys are. Again, we're going to be filming it as a series, so you're going to get small tidbits, shorter videos instead of those long hour-length mod guide type things. So hopefully you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments if you do. Anyway, let's get on the bench. Alright, so the new HVZ blaster, I've been wanting to build for a long time now, is in fact an Infinus. Now this one is bone stock, but it was custom painted for me by Ed at Anchor Arts. We've used him before, and he did this great kind of winter glacial camo thing on it for me, and it's really, really cool. I've got the little, I want to say it's a proton barrel on here, so we'll get that off. Just using it to add some length. Alright, so a lot of mods are going into this, this particular blaster. First, we have to wire it up for 3S LiPo, but we have to spare the electronics because I want to keep the auto load feature. We're going to cut as much away down here as we can, which is going to be somewhere maybe along that line because I've got an idea for a great underbarrel and I don't need this goofy waste of space plastic. And then I've got a bunch of little creature comforts I'm going to put on it, and I'll get with you guys on those later. But for right now, let's get it apart. Okay, so we've got it opened up here, and there's several things. We're going to completely gut the blaster for one, which is not going to be the easiest chore. There's a lot of stuff that goes on inside a freaking Infinus. So I've already pulled the mag release and all that stuff out of there. But our objectives here are to this is the rev, the green wires. See if I can get my little tweezers here and get those up out there. Because that's going to be a whole new circuit, high voltage circuit. Probably. So, get it peeled because it's like a little ribbon cable here. Get the green ones peeled off. And ultimately what we're going to do is cut those completely free of the board. Because we will no longer need them because we're going to be revving independently. The rev is not contingent on anything working here. It won't auto load if it's revving. However, I know well enough it's going to be my blaster not to try to load a dart in it while it's revving. Not that that will hurt anything. But anyway, so obviously we're going to just go ahead and put the wires here and put them there. The blue leads are, of course, for the trigger. Yep, okay, all that's good. So, anyway, there's also one more thing. The lever for the dart loader, I got some paint on it, so when we take this thing up out of there, which you have to pull this cover off, and you got to be pretty careful with this thing on the inside. Take pictures of your Infinus before you start gutting it. Oops, wrong screwdriver there. Because there were so many switches in this thing, and it's really easy to mess it up. As I recall, we can take these couple screws out. And that'll more or less let us move that cover out of the way. I think there's one screw all the way here in the top that actually holds the whole loading mechanism in. There we go. So we've separated that. There's quite a bit going on in here, and we've got to get most of it out because of the cut that we're going to make on the blaster, which comes a good inch inside the mag well. We want to cut it right here to where this switch is. So yeah, an inch is safe. We can go from the bottom of the mag well, right about 1.25 inches above the bottom of the mag well that we're going to be cutting. So you can see the line if we come right here where this thing's going to get diced at, or my ruler setting. That's still going to leave us plenty of room for our flywheels and stuff like that, but it's going to give us lots of room underneath it for a custom underbarrel. Now we also want to get this pusher out of here. So to get that out, now that we've cleared this, which is no problem, pull the actuator switch down here under my finger, pull that down, and just lift that out. Now, the reason we're taking this out, basically, guys, this is a rapid strike pusher. Now, well, I'm going to clip the wires, but I'm going to leave them quite long, and they are in this blaster, which is great. Because this pusher is, again, it's a rapid strike pusher. And I don't really know which one of those is which. We're going to call the yellow one the positive. It's not that important in these, because you can polarity reverse them, but we'll put a little red marker on that one wire right there just so that we solder that one up to the positive lead of the new motor. It's going to be getting an MTB Honey Badger, and the reason being is that a Honey Badger will run on stock 6 volts, and it doesn't pull too many amps to amp everything out. Now, the thing about this pusher is that it's geared very slow. Anyway, I'm going to put all this aside, and I'm going to get a different blaster out that has a similar pusher with a much higher gear rate, and we're going to see if we can swap the gears internally and then drop this back in with a new higher geared system in it that will go much faster. Anyway, let me get that, and I'll get back to you. All right, a blaster with a similar pusher but a better gear ratio. What could we be thinking? How about that? The turbine is one of the fastest shooting stock Nerf blasters, especially with this style of pusher. Rapid Strike cranks out a good solid like 3.5 darts per second, and the turbine's a whole lot closer to 5. Now it's running the same voltage, it's running all of the same stuff, which tells me that the gearing inside the pusher box is better. So anyway, we're going to get this thing out of the box, get it ripped apart, and get that pusher out of there, and then we'll take a look at see what both pushers can do on the same battery. All right, so I opened up the turbine. Now, it didn't take me but about 10 minutes. I've opened these up before. They clip together, which is a pain in the rump. You have to get the little handle cover off. You have to get the little foregrip cover off. Take out the half a dozen screws or so, and then there are clips all the way around. Now, there are 2 points on the blaster that are pretty firmly solvent welded, okay? And there's this one right here, right in front of the mag well. There's no screw in there. It's just below. So it's going to be right in here on this side of the blaster. And then right here, I don't know if you can kind of see it in the light, there's a compression right there. Yep. And that post is solvent welded. So, now this one, I've had let go every time I've opened one of these. This one, I work it with a small screwdriver, open it up, and then I take my variety of little small pry bars. I got these at like Harbor Freight or something. They're like $2 for like 3 of them. Just stick it in here and just kind of rotate a little bit and pop those clips along the way till you get to a point that you're really stuck with, and kind of stick one in here, stick one in there, take the X-Acto knife and cut this post off. Anyway, what we're after is right here. We want the meat of the matter. So we're going to go ahead and cut this loose because we want the pusher box. All right, the rest of this can go aside for a rainy day. Probably build that into a blaster for the shop, while the pusher will be slightly lower geared, obviously, on this blaster without all the fancied up razzmatazz and blah blah blah. We can like overvolt the crap out of a Honey Badger or something like that to make up the difference in the speed here. Do a couple things here. So I've got my meter. Hopefully you guys can see that. And we're going to set that to 20 volts DC and just test my little pack here. These batteries are actually really good lithium ions, or So they're the high discharge things. They're not truss fires. They're actually really good. And we have 7.2 volts off the two of them, so that's fine. So we're testing the motors on the same voltage. Let's see if we can see a difference in the two. So we're going to hook them up the same way. We'll just twist up the negative. Let's pop one battery out of here. Twist up the positive. And then we'll drop the battery in the hole, and we'll see what kind of speed we're getting off of the Infinus's pusher box. Okay, anyway, here we go. Okay, not all that, but we knew that already. Let me see if I can actually get that to return home here. Whoops. Ah, beautiful. Okay, so there we have it. So there was the Infinus. Let's take a look at the turbines pusher. Same setup, same battery, same everything. I haven't cut the camera. There's no fun and games here. And just take a look and see how much faster, if any, that this pusher box is on the exact same battery pack. So again, we're going to pop our battery out of there so that we can just wire these on and drop the battery in, kind of like a switch. I could have done this far more scientifically and far more attractively, but I'm too lazy. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, that is noticeably faster. And that all has to do with the gearing inside the boxes. Alright, so obviously can't swap the gears because of spacing. I knew the turbine's gearbox was narrower this way, side to side, but I didn't know it was that much shorter. If you look at the front of them, lined up pretty straight there, just on my screwdriver, you can see how much farther back the motor and gear sets in the Infinus. So that's not all travesty. We're simply going to take the turbine gearbox, stock as is, and modify it to fit in the Infinus. So we'll have to put a couple of little lugs on it, like these, to drop in and hold it in place, but those should be easily epoxied onto the shell there, and we'll be good to go. So anyway, I'm going to get it doing that, and I'll bring you guys back for episode 2 when I've got the pusher installed, and we'll go over some of the other pretty sweet stuff that we're going to do to the blaster.